talking about search strategies because now you're at the point where you have a beginning of your research question and it's time to test it out and see if you can find the kind of information that you'll need to answer your question. And so, let's get started. One of the things about searching for information is that it's like a puzzle, and you have to start broad. You look at your results, you narrow down. Maybe it's too narrow, you go broad again. You kind of go back and forth like this as you look at your results and figure out what seems to be working in each search. This is a very, very messy part of the process. And so I can imagine sometimes that you'll feel overwhelmed, you may feel frustrated, that you're hitting an obstacle, you're not finding what you hope to find, and you feel like you should be able to find it, but it's just not happening. It's possible you're doing everything right and it's just not there, but I'm happy to help you. We can have a little one-on-one with our laptops and see what we can figure out together. So once you get to a point where you're like, okay, this is not working, I'm really frustrated, I need some help, please do see me. I'm happy to help. And if we can't figure it out, then we will tweak your question. So I just want to make sure you understand that searching is messy, and I'm here to help you with that if you want. So what you're doing right now is still poking around. You know what your research question might be, and now it's time to look around at a few different places and see what you can find out. And you might still be starting with some of the less scholarly information. And that less scholarly information can lead you, if you follow it through, it can lead you to the scholarly articles that you must have in your works cited list. Many of the things that you're going to start finding will not make it to your works cited list because they will be websites or Wikipedia articles. Those will help you get to your final goal, which is your scholarly sources. So we're going to talk about a few different things: reading laterally, reading upstream. We've talked already about mining Wikipedia, so we won't go into that too much this time. So reading laterally means reading across the web. So whenever you open a new website from a quick Google search, you want to take a quick look at what's there and immediately start opening other tabs. So you're reading across in other tabs based on what you found. And so when you have that one source open, you look and see who is that person writing, where are they from, what are the links on that page, how does this information compare to other things that you might have read? And you start kind of ping, 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 opening up other tabs to check it out. It helps you because you're evaluating the information along the way and you're searching for more like that. So you found something that might be good, and now you're going to open and see if you can find more things based on the information you found inside there. So that's called reading laterally, reading kind of across the whole web as much as you can. The other thing that you're going to start doing is reading upstream. So how close can you get to some scholarly or even original information? So you find an article from a Google search, you find an article through a Wikipedia page, and you look in the footnotes, you look in the references, you continue to Google and search for the evidence that this place has cited. And that helps you read up and up and up in the chain to the person who had the original idea. It's not your job to find the original idea, but you want to try because that's probably going to lead you to the most scholarly information. And then you're going to start getting into some sophisticated search techniques. And so a lot of what we're going to be doing is using Google and Google Scholar to find those scholarly articles. And so when you're starting out with your Google searching, you want to really think about the words that you're choosing in your search string. And so you might make a list of all the different words that you think relate to your question. And we'll talk about creating search strings using Boolean operators and advanced search. So for this part, you're going to use some pencil and paper to kind of do some puzzling out. So talking about words and phrases, when we're using Google, the words matter. Each of the words matter because that's just how smart Google is. And so if we search for who, a who, or the who, we're going to get different things. We're going to get a picture book. We're going to get a rock and roll band for the Who, and who might be the World Health Organization. The order of the words matters as well. And so if you have words that you think might be the right ones, but it's not getting you anywhere, try moving the words around into a different order. It may help. Keywords are key, super, super important. And so you might not be aware of what the best keywords are for getting the results you want. And so you want to try lots of different words, synonyms that mean the same thing as another word, and see if you can find the right combination. It's a puzzle. I'm straight up telling you it is a puzzle to get this figured out. So you're just going to try to use different combinations, different words, to see what happens. Capitalization and punctuation don't matter, except punctuation as used as a code, and we'll talk about that in a minute. So one thing to do is write down your question and write down or circle some of the key words in your question, and then see if you can identify some synonyms for those key words. What are other ways to say those things? And that will give you a list of words that you can use to start playing around with your search string. Codes are kind of cool to know about when you're using Google, and these codes work for other places as well. And so wildcard is a question mark, and that allows you to replace any vowel. So if you have a word like woman or women, you can put a question mark instead of the A or the E, woman, women, and it will bring back both of those words. It's good for, so that's an example of a plural. It's good for words that are spelled in two different ways in English. So labor with OU in British English and labor with just an O in American English. It will bring you both. Same thing with organize with a Z or an S. Pediatric has different spellings. So if you know, especially from searching around a little bit, if you start to realize that you have important words in your search that come in different spellings or have plurals, then you can add them as these wildcard. Truncation is also really cool. Truncation lets you put a star at the end of a word, and that chops off the end of the word, and it tells Google to search for the root. And so if I have child star, it will search child and children and children's. Same thing with environment, environmental, environmentally. All of those will be caught up in the search. Government, you get the idea. So those first two things are going to give you more results. And sometimes you want to make sure that you're getting everything that you want at first. So you kind of start broad and pull in all that you might need. Cast a wide net with those two codes. And then based on what you see happening, you might realize, I need a limiter. And so you can put in the word not, or also the minus sign in front of any word in a search, right in front, a little minus sign. And it should limit the results so that word doesn't happen. So, if you have like Miami Dolphins and you're really searching for dolphins that are from Miami, not the football team, then you can say, Miami and Dolphins minus football, and it should help you to kind of limit out those ones that you don't want. The most powerful code, I hope you already know, is the quotation marks. And whenever you have an exact phrase that needs to stay together, the only way the search engine will know that is if you put quotation marks around it. So, like Amnesty International, for example, the organization. I can't think of anything right now, but as you start searching, you'll see that there might be key terms in your search that belong together. Okay, like one like child protection, for example. That's a commonly used phrase that we use in schools a lot, child protection. I want to put that in quotation marks so I'm getting that phrase and things that relate to it all together. So, just look and see which of those might be relevant for your search. Okay, Boolean operators are like, librarian talk for expanding and narrowing your search. And the operators are the three words and, or, and not. So and is a Boolean operator, and it gives you fewer results. Because even though it's and, it's saying that you want all of the results to be including both of those words. So if I want puppies and kittens, that's actually going to be less than if I had puppies or kittens. So you can see in the middle here, or we don't care if it's puppies or kittens, we want either one of those. And then not is easier to understand. That means I'm going to filter out kittens. I only want puppies. So puppy, not kitten. So the most confusing one for people is usually the idea that and is actually a narrowing Boolean operator. And you can use them in combination, so there's no end to the number of operators that you can use. So you can have, 3 along the top here, pointing to the sweet spot right in the middle. So I'm not going to go through all of these right now, but the point for you is think about what you really want, look at the results as they come in, and start to piece together, I want this and this, or this, not this, and you can kind of build what we call a search string with some of these operators. Okay, now it gets a little more complicated, but super fun. Key filters. So these are codes that Google uses, and all other databases, it will work there as well. These are really, really handy codes to know. So you'll use these right inside the Google search box. File type, : it means give me this particular kind of file type. And the one that is particularly popular, I see I have it on there twice, that's how popular it is .pdf. So you put in your search, whatever, keywords you have, and then file type : .pdf, and it will bring you scans of articles related to those words. Or if you're looking for a movie or PowerPoint, sound, any of those other extensions will work as well. But that .pdf is a particularly powerful one for your extended essay. By the way, if you're looking for data sets, you can look for an Excel sheet, XLS. So just pay attention to those extensions. Those can really be helpful. In title is also amazing. It is a narrower. And so if you start getting on the right track and yet you have too many results, you can use in title : and that tells the search engine to find the words that you want in the title of the source. And so that is really going to narrow it down. So if you're looking for child protection, and you've got like 3,000 things, put in the title, in title : and it should find child protection as part of the title, which means it's really going to be about child protection, not just somewhere in the article. Cite : is helpful if you know that you want something from a large website like the New York Times or some huge place, National Geographic or something like that. And then in URL is also very handy. In URL will allow you to limit by domain. So if you're looking for something at the university level, .edu can be handy. If you know you want a US government document, .gov. And then, of course, all of the different country codes. So China CN, .cn, but whatever country you might be needing, you can limit it to a website from that country's domain. So that can be super handy as well. You can use all of these in combination with each other. They are like puzzle pieces that you can fit together. Okay, so just have a look and see which ones might be useful for you. And then we put it all together. And so we look at this top one here, Amnesty International, Iran, women, file type PDF. What is that going to bring back? It should bring us a scanned article about Iranian women and whatever Amnesty International has done or not done for them. Or the second one, Lima, or Lima, but in this case it's Lima, not the bean, because I want the city, in the New York Times site, and I want the word traffic in the title. So all of these are really cool. I'm going to show you these others after I finish with the slides, but we're going to take a look at Boolify, Google Advanced Search, and Google Scholar, and I'll show you how to create an alert in Google Scholar, which can be really handy once you figure out the best search string. Okay, so these are examples of search strings, and once you have a string that seems to work well, you can use it over and over in other search engines and in databases. All right, so databases are great, especially once you really know what you're looking for. So I still do recommend getting a good sense overall from Google and Google Scholar. And then once you have a sense of what you're looking for, you can poke around in the databases. Number one thing for all of the databases to look for is your ability to access the article. Many people think that the databases that we have are fully open. They aren't. They are organized, but we don't have access to everything inside. And so you must choose full text, or in JSTOR, it's called Content I Can Access, and it just means it's only going to search for articles that you can actually have. I'll try my best. If you find an article and you really have to have it and it's not available for you, I'll try to get it for you, but I cannot guarantee it, and I'm not going to pay for articles. We have enough. So I don't want to get into, going and paying for all different articles. Choose from within what we have. It should be perfectly fine for your high school extended essay assignment. Okay? After you've chosen that, then take a look at your narrowing tools. And that is how you can start to, get a handle on the best way to search for your topic. So you can search academic journals, limit it only to that. If you want something easier, you can start with just magazines, and make sure that you look at the subject filter, because you open that up and it will give you all different subjects within your keyword search. So that will suggest ideas for you. If there's an advanced search option, that's also very handy, and it will give you the chance to search within the title, within the abstract, or anywhere in the article. So that's also really good. So best thing to do here is open up the document with all the passwords and stuff, choose your favorite database, try a new one that you've never tried before, and start poking around. Here's just an example. This is from EBSCO of the subject terms. So databases use a controlled vocabulary. It's not like Google, where you can put in any word and Google will make some good guesses for you. In databases, they have particular words that they use, and so you want to pay attention to those subject terms. And once you start finding articles that are on the right track, notice those subject terms and use those in your search. You can even click on those and it will bring you more. But those will be the kind of powerful way to start hacking the way that the database thinks and categorizes your topic. Okay, so those are some nitty-gritty tools that I want you to start to use as you're searching for your topic. It's not anymore just slamming a question into Google. You've got to get crafty and think like it's a puzzle in order to start finding your evidence. From now until the end of March, which is about 6 weeks, your goal is to finalize your research question. And many of you may say, oh, I already love my research question. It's going to be great. Your research question is not finalized until you have a stack of evidence to answer it. The only way you can have a final question is when you know you have the sources to answer that thing. And so that is the work right now. This is a very, very important step in the process. I recommend you set aside a chunk of time every week from now until the end of March to do this deep kind of searching to make sure that your research question can be answered by evidence you have. And as you go through the process of this kind of searching and digging, I'm pretty confident that your research question will get tight. It will change. You will tweak it based on what you find out. We're going to have another lesson about how to craft a good research question. And so that will give you some ideas as you're searching around about ways to narrow and focus your question so that it can be answered in a relatively short paper. I know this is probably the longest paper you've done, but it's still a relatively short paper. Alrighty, thank you so much, and let me know if you need any help with anything.